everybody. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another segment of Missing Kids, still discussing the unfortunate childhood of our prime suspect in the Madeline McCann case. Keeping you up to date with my channel's content, we have so far discussed relating to this particular case of Madeline McCann and her vanishing in 2007. We have discussed parts of Richard D. Hall's documentary. We have gone over the timeline involving the McCanns and the Tapper 7. We have discussed some of the very significant clues that have yet to be resolved or explained, but keep mysteriously popping up. We have gone over the prime suspect's timeline, some of his life situation events, such as working at Ocean Club, and we have also discussed the missing children, the victims of his brutal attacks, and so now we are kind of wrapping it up, and we are talking about the suspect's childhood. So last time we were discussing the first part of the suspect's childhood, where he was adopted, because I don't know what happened to his biological parents, but he was adopted by a kindly Bavarian couple and grew up in this small Bavarian town, which sounds to me very delightful, but indeed his life may not have been that delightful. His childhood was not, as he grew older, his adoptive father had a horrific accident, and it affected the whole family. And that is when our suspect began to act out. Now, whether he did this out of a cry for help, or a need for money, or misguidance, or I don't know what. He probably had various multiple reasons for breaking into the world of crime at a very early age. And so it's sad. I don't know what other abuse he may have been subjected to, either in his community or at school or at home. I don't know. He had two other adoptive siblings, and so his parents were known for being a very warm and generous, loving family. However, after his father's accident, our prime suspect embarked in a still never-ending life of crime. And at only 15, he was sentenced for burglary. And I imagine it was a pretty serious burglary, probably on how it all went down. I don't think it was a matter of shoplifting or anything like that. I think it was a pretty severe case of robbery, and I don't know if he was armed, but it's very sad to know that he was linked to something so serious at such an early age as 15. And so he had already been in and out of juvenile hall, and he had been placed into a military corrective school by his parents. Years after the burglary, while he was still very young, at 17 years old, he was convicted of a more serious crime, in my opinion, and it involved the abuse of a young child. And so that is one of the convictions that I had been telling you about in a previous upload when we went over the life and times of the suspect. And so he was then placed in a high security prison in, I believe, northern Germany, and became eligible for parole after serving 2/3 of a jail sentence. And that included Also a previous charge of dealing narcotics. So, and I'm sorry to use that word, but I want to call it what it is. And so he was quite a busy lad, wasn't he? However, while serving that sentence at 17, he, I don't know how this happened, he broke out. Uh, Probably not an outright escape, but he may have been out on a pass, or he was maybe out on parole, and he skipped. He skipped the country at 17 and made a beeline for Portugal with a girlfriend, and there he stayed for 12 years. He was a fugitive. When he did return to Germany, he did not head back to the Bavarian town where he grew up, but instead moved to another northern part of Germany and settled in Braunschweig. Okay, Braunschweig. Don't laugh at how I said it because that's the only way I know how to pronounce it. And so there he stayed. I imagine he was responding to charges. Now, it is probably during this time when he returned to Germany to respond to various charges that he began to become suspected of other cases where missing children were involved, and indeed one was found transpired, a very young girl, and so he began to become connected to the Madeleine McCann case, the case of the missing 5-year-old German child who vanished in 2015, Louise Curtin, and so many other women who had vanished or been found, their remains. He was also investigated for the missing child Peggy, and so he still remains very much in the public eye, and his upcoming trial will be in February for other unrelated charges, mostly for revealing himself to 4 children in a playground. And I imagine that may have been in Germany. I don't know too much about this case yet. And so after that, maybe depending on the outcome of that, he will be tried for his involvement, any involvement in the Madeleine McCann disappearance. And so we want to make sure that what we look at is indeed very truthful and very accurate, because if we apprehend the wrong individual, it's just not going to do any good, right? So anyway, that is all I have for you today. I thank you very much for listening and watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.